You can learn a lot from Scott's story in that being yourself and putting yourself out there. That's the other thing. Like throughout all of Scott's ordeal with the crash in the Nitro Studebaker, like he was super transparent about it. He owned any of the issues and the shortcomings or whatever, and talked about it and addressed those things. I mean, I remember, if you remember, like on the heels, and I'd love to hear Scott talk about this, immediately following the crash, there was video circulating privately, right? Like people were sending the video around. But what Scott do? He posts it on his own social media. And he told me that he was going to put it out there because he thinks people need to see it. People want to see it. Hell, he wants them to see it. And I think that level of transparency, to me, it's like, okay, do we need, like, it's the flashing blue light where the deals are in Walmart? Like, clearly that approach works, right? Because Scott has built this audience and built this following by being honest with them, being transparent with them, telling what's going on, whether they like it or not. And I think that, and I mean, fortunately for him, most of the time like it, right? But do you think that there's something to be learned from that and just how you kind of build out? I mean, Alex, I can say much about the same thing about you, in that you have shared a lot of your behind the scenes stuff, a lot of your, crazy side-by-side racing or buying horses or whatever you call it. What's it called? Adopting horses and other random wildlife. I mean, you put yourself out there, you share everything with people. And I think that they appreciate that because they want to know. Like, I think it's a really surreal experience for everybody to like think that anybody else in the world cares what they're doing on a Tuesday, but they do, especially your fans. And I mean, I'm just curious your take on that.
2 words: it's real and raw, and that's what everybody's after, right? It's all of the live stuff, live videos, the behind the scenes, and that's, I'm racing No Prep Kings now, and that's what made the Street Outlaws such a successful deal. It's not just racing, like I'm not to bash NHRA at all, but or Fox by any means, but when we watch those broadcasts, you have a little picture of the driver. They talk about you for a second, car goes down the racetrack, and then win or lose, whatever. Sometimes you get an interview, sometimes you don't. Sometimes something crazy happens and you don't ever have that chance to explain it. And that's what people want to see. They want to see what happened, why it didn't make a good run, why it blew up, why whatever happened. And the people of Street Outlaws, the fans now, they're so invested in these drivers as people, that they would literally, many of them, take a bullet for some of these folks. It's just it's a completely different fan base, and it's strong.
I agree. And I think that is honestly, I remember, this is a weird thing to reference, but I had a conversation a long time ago with Big Chief. Remember, I mean, I think about the stardom that Big Chief achieved, and in many regards still enjoys, even without being on the show or about being consistently on Discovery Channel, through his own channels and YouTube. But Big Chief said to me one time, he goes, drag racing, like traditional drag racing, they've got like the hardcore fans sewn up. Like, they've got all the guys wearing Proline shirts. They got all the guys wearing Fuel Tech shirts. They've got the hardcore black shirt crowd. But what he said to me that I found interesting was, he goes, what Street Outlaws has and No Prep Kings has is they have like the casual just fan, like someone who's looking for something to do on a Saturday afternoon, found their way to the drag strip and fell in love with one of these characters. And it's less, yes, maybe they aren't going to go buy an ECU from Fuel Tech, but like they're still a valuable consumer that spends money, buys things, and maybe they don't buy hot rod parts, but maybe they buy, Bic razors or Budweiser beer or whatever. There's other opportunities to get sponsors and partners involved that are after that demographic. And I think sometimes we've had blinders on, or like been so laser focused on our hardcore fan base or our hardcore racer base, that we've not paid perhaps enough attention to, developing those casual fans and getting them to the point that they take a bullet for their favorite driver.
Absolutely. It's low hanging fruit for so many of them, like you said, just because may not be the ones directly buying the hardcore race parts and whatnot. There are 1000% plenty of products out there that everybody is interested in. And it's still all within the same demographic, right? Even if it's something as simple as, like you said, big razors or Axe deodorant, there's hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of people that you could sell this stuff to.
I agree, man. And I think that the door is open for our sport to start moving into that more mainstream space and going after some of those mainstream partners. Cause I've said this to many friends, but it's like, I can't help but feel like drag racing is like one or two key partners away from like an entire new world for our sport. Like if we had a partner that would like really wrap their arms around our sport and embrace the community and leverage it to its fullest potential, there's no telling where this whole deal could end up at some point in time, because I believe it is the great American motorsport.